I really want to go live. And we're live on YouTube. Once again, we're back here with the Cypher point. What was it? 0.2. Is this zero point 0.3? So, we tested it out. Our motto is manage expectations while we playing around. But this is dope. We're here to have a good time, talk about some dope stuff. Yo, this is Troy in the building.
And
Lonnie, what up? And Lonnie, what's goody?
And we're gonna get that down too. We're gonna get our intros down too. But thanks for joining us. Check out the intro. Bam. All right, good people. Thank you for joining us again today. So let me see. Let me pull this back. Yeah, our names can pop up so you know who we are in the building. So a lot of things going on in the world. We're here to talk about some things going in the entertainment space, in the entertainment world. Some good talking points came up. But Lonnie, we were talking the other day. We were talking about the commercialization of certain things, and you brought up a great point. Uh, of is empathy just part of branding? Is it just being used as a part of branding to maximize the customer connectivity? So I'll let you lead with that. What are your thoughts on that?
I really feel like it is, and I mean, as a if you're a businessman, right, especially a white one, like this isn't really something that you're like, hey, I don't feel any type of way for doing this. Like whatever works within the business that'll bring the numbers up, we can do. And with everything that's been going on this year and kind of the shift that's been happening, I think the fact that a majority of the country has been kind of pushing towards that one side. I remember one day I like went into like the living room and my daughter was playing Call of Duty, right? And like when the game was loading, there was this thing that was like, we don't tolerate like racial slurs. And I'm like, yo, I myself have played Call of Duty for years. This is the first time. Like, do you understand? Like, this is a thing, bro. Like, I can't count on my hands and toes the amount of times that like some 13-year-old kid has like used all types of ends and what I'm saying, just crazy stuff on that game. Like that's just a thing. But all of a sudden, bro, this game's been around since we were in college, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second, don't do that. This is the year that we put our foot down. Like, come on, bro.
This is
And,
the year.
and that's the thing that's been going on through a lot of companies like Nike. Nike's actually, I'll give Nike props because they've been doing a lot over the years, but just a lot of businesses are like, yo, we need to darken it up a bit this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys matter. It's an interesting thing because it's like as Black people, you want to say, hey, you know what, this is nice, but then you feel what's behind it's
Mhm.
not like that real. I don't know.
yeah, I think a lot of it's performative. Have y'all seen? Do y'all watch Euphoria on HBO?
Love
Oh
it.
yeah,
So have you
great,
seen
great show.
the last episode, the bonus episode that was just released this last week?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't
So
see that.
this, to your point, Lonnie, they talk specifically. It's a dope ass episode. First of all, just it's done. It's done completely different than all the rest of them because they're sitting in one. Everything moves pretty quickly, and they hit a lot of different scenes, a lot of different. Um, the storyline goes all over the place usually, and in this particular episode, it's just Rue and Ali from her when she was going to.
Oh yeah, the double A guy, the AA guy
Yes.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a conversation between those two in a diner for the entirety of the episode. It's beautiful. So it shows such great character work, but specifically talks about the revolution and talking about how they're really like there's been so many revolutions that there's really not a revolution right now is part of what he talks about.
Mm,
And he specifically talks about going into a Nike store and seeing all like, talking about your life matters, something like that. And he was like, for the first time, like for a minute, like he was really moved, touched, and inspired. Like, damn, you care about my life. Like, you care about my Black life. Like, wow. And then he goes and looks at the price tag of $120 pair of shoes. He's like, and you're paying $7 to a little Vietnamese child to make these shoes. You don't give a damn about my life. You don't care about their lives. You don't care about me. If he was like, the only reason you care about me and the only reason Black Lives Matter right now is because it's on trend. Because if the trend was it's something about like if the trend was being melancholy or depressed, then
mm,
Nirvana was still like the number one band, then that's what the trend would be like, and it would be all about being depressed and sad. He's like, but since rap music and hip hop music is and I'm paraphrasing, but like since that's what's on, then that's what we care about. So we care about your lives, we care everything, whatever's gonna sell, we care about it. And he was like, in a revolution, he's like, in a true revolution, there are no allies. He's like, you stand alone. So this is not. It was just so powerful, and it spoke so genuinely to, I believe, what is going on, which is a lot of performative care of Black lives, care of the revolution, care of equity. And if you're not seeing it done, if it's just something that is done in advertisement and you got a Black Lives Matter sign up, but you're not changing your infrastructure, then nothing's changing and you really don't care.
and the crazy thing, the crazy thing about that is that you weed that out really quickly because you can tell who's being authentic or inauthentic. I was having a conversation with someone last week. I was moderating a discussion on the film Blind Spotting with David Diggs. Dope project. And uh, we were talking about obviously the importance of diversity and inclusion in the decision making process, but we specifically talked about not just having a face in the room or a few faces in the room to darken it up, to Lonnie's point, but if you're not inclusive of those ideas or the things that are genuine to those individuals, or taking in new concepts to actually change the infrastructure opposed to just branding it as this diverse culture, or similar to walking in a store and just seeing like your lives matter, you're gonna you'll weed through that quickly anyway. You'll sift through that really quickly anyway, and that's one of the last things you want to do is be labeled as a phony or inauthentic person on social media. So it can only last so long when those companies are doing it, and especially today, you almost have to have your eyebrow raised when you see that stuff. You're like, okay, yeah, but I don't know about that. You probably should have just said, just do it and just kept it moving.
Kept it a buck and kept it moving.
That's it, or do a commercial and let somebody else that may be more tapped into that movement speak for themselves.
Right. And
That's
who are the
true.
decision makers in those rooms is what I like. And if there's only one brown or black face in the room, then that's not equity. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, that's so true. Yo, so wait, you said it was only two people, like that whole episode was like
The
just two people?
whole episode there, it opens up with Rue and Jules and kind
Uh,
of what is it like the dream sequence,
yeah.
and then it pulls into the cafe, and they're at for the entirety they're just sitting in a booth, and the character work that is done
Are
is
they the only two people in the shot?
yeah, and
Yo, you know what? That makes so much sense. You know why that's like that, right?
yeah, well they shot it during COVID was what they
Exactly.
And so
Yo.
they have like a 6 minute like talk back about like what they decided to do, and because they shut down they the Friday they're supposed to start season 2 on that Monday, and they got shut down the Friday before. So they
Hmm.
did something before the end of the year, and so he did a rewrite, and this is what he came up with, and it's dope, and it's really inspiring too because it like gets you in your creative juices think about what can I do to rewrite or move some things around to still make it possible to keep my project moving.
Did you see that short film that Zendaya did with Denzel's son.
Oh, where is that?
I'm gonna send it to y'all. I'm gonna send it to y'all.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta check that out then.
Yeah, they shot it during the like that was like when it initially started, like when the lockdown started, like
Mhm.
they just did something together. I was like, yo, this is solid. But yeah, it's very dope. I'm gonna
I
send it to
never
you.
not thought she was a great actress. Like I've enjoyed watching her on the screen, but this last episode, she got. I was like, all right, sis, I see you.
Okay,
Man,
okay.
I see you, ma'am.
man, I love that show. That's a dope show. We binge watched that. The storytelling, the artistry of it. But you know what's crazy is what you all brought up about shooting during COVID. Have you all just like watched content in a little bit of a with a little bit of a different lens, and you notice like, oh wow, okay, I can tell they're spread out. They're 6 and 10 feet apart now this season compared to last season, or you're watching a show that would have been in a studio before, and now they're shooting outside like one of these we were watching, I think, Chopped, and
Mm.
normally that show is inside and they're cooking and all of that, but this season you're watching everything's outdoors. So
Mhm.
for the probably for the next year and a half, we're going to be able to pinpoint while we're watching content like
Yeah,
that was filmed during COVID.
Yeah, that's so dope. It's. I mean,
it's nuts.
it's just crazy. It's dope
That's
because I think it stretches you as a creative, and I think also, I mean, obviously we look at these things through a different lens, but how like you kind of nerd out on it, and you're watching these different things. You're like, oh damn, and you're seeing different choices. It's just like when you're watching anything when you understand that, like, oh, you did that, you made that choice, you're doing this because this was your budget. This was like I
Mm.
get what you did there, I get you did there, and it's like now you're seeing this other element of it.
yeah. It's that Sam Levinston. He's like amazing.
He really truly is, and he wrote this episode. I was like, he really I was really impressed that this white man wrote this particular last episode, especially. And I was just like, was there anybody else? Like, I mean, what does this writer's room look like? Because it was just very nuanced.
Yeah, he has this film called that's on it's on Hulu right now. Well, it's been on Hulu for a couple, maybe 2 years now, but I saw it at the movie theater. It was called Assassination Nation.
Ooh.
And when I saw that film and then I found out that he was doing Euphoria, I was like, yo, this show's gonna be dope because Assassination Nation is one of the best movies I've seen in the last 2.5 years.
And it's on Hulu right now, you said?
It's on Hulu, yeah.
Some homework tonight. Make sure you send that over. The other video, the little short, and then I'm gonna watch the assassination.
I got you.
And
I
I'm gonna take
got
my notes. So we got to bring those are two guests we got to bring on at some point, right? Zendaya and
Yep. And,
what's
you.
the
Sam Levinson.
yeah.
not Mark. Well, Mark about to be on here right now.
Yeah, Mark's in the building. I'm texting now. I see him. He's probably listening to me now. I see you smiling down there. Cool. So yeah. So um, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us again for the first segment of the show. We're going to bring on our second guest for the O2 podcast. This brother is amazing. Just a gospel phenomenon. I'm trying to do my Steve Harvey right now. He's a gospel phenomenon. He is the founder and CEO of Next Showcase USA. He is the immediate past president of the Grammys chapter for Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, get up out your seats, make some noise for the one and the only Mr. Mark Hubbard.
Yo, what's
So
up,
what's up,
bro?
man?
What's going on? The introduction was a whole lot there. Well, I appreciate it.
Just
What's going
trying
on,
to play
people?
my role, man.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
All right, okay. So he's got jokes, man. So yeah, but Mark, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming out for sure. Like I said, man, we are having a good time with this project, and we are anticipating it continuing to grow. So we would definitely appreciate you being a part of this. And so we're just gonna get into it, man. What's going on with you? What's going on? How have you been pivoting during these times?
Whew, that's a good question. I guess I've been pivoting like everybody else. I assume, being a organization that was used to doing live events with people in person, so I had to pivot over to the virtual. It's been challenging, but We learn how to navigate. We're actually still learning how to navigate through this process, and I think everybody is. It's a learning process for everybody who definitely has been that type of organization that has been in person, and now we have to do a lot of things virtually. So it's a learning, but we're doing good. I can't see nobody but myself right now, though.
Cause I'm doing my producer thing, man.
Okay.
Let me
I
do
feel
my
like,
thing, man.
you doing your producer thing, but I feel like I'm talking to myself. That's weird. I'm just
No,
saying.
you here, man. You just let me do my thing. You just chill, okay?
Okay.
We got this. Funky Finger Productions, okay? We
I
got this.
got you, bro. But I was like, I hate Spotlight on Zoom, and I Spotlight. I'm not. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I
You
want to
like
talk
the
to y'all.
spotlight?
Stop, would you? Can somebody else produce the show?
Come
Oh,
on,
Oh
man.
no,
They gave me the buttons. I got the buttons. I'm in the
I
back.
see.
I'm in
Somebody
the
else
back
be
just
clicking, but
clicking.
it's all good. But that's not good no more. Oh, again, I'm a person that love to have fun. I believe it's a lot of enough negativity in the world, and so everything that we're dealing with now, it's just good to laugh. It really is. So even in sad times, me being an artist, this is my full-time thing. As you read earlier, my biography, I am a gospel artist. Excuse me. That's my number one genre of music, but I also am, love of all music and also dealing with other music as well. So me being a full-time artist, not being able to tour, not being able to travel, not being able to gig, you know, not being able to make any type of money like that, it has become a situation that can become a situation where it mentally, it actually, is a suppression on you. So I have learned to turn a lot of things, situations, whatever I can, into a lot of laughter and joy. And so that's just who I am. But don't touch that button no more.
Yo, has that has that pushed you to be more creative at all? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like now you're like, yo, I'm making more music, I'm making more, being an artist more.
Well, let me be honest with you in that in regard. Especially when the pandemic first started out in March and April, a lot of people were, especially online, and I saw a lot of on Instagram like, if you're not taking this time to be creative and writing music and writing this and doing that, you're just being lazy, not doing anything. And I totally disagree with that because this pandemic affects people in different ways. When things first happened with me, I didn't catch it, but my brother, he caught COVID-19, and it was a really long process with us. And my brother lives with me and things like that. So I wasn't focused on writing music. I wasn't focused on writing a book. I wasn't even focused on my organization. I was focused on my brother being well. So it took a minute for me to start being creative. It took a minute for me to get to that point, and I'm still, in the process of getting to that point. So I tell people all the time that, just because you're not where people think you should be, you're not on that time span. You're on your own. So therefore, you have to deal with it how you deal with it, and have people respect you where you are. And so, to answer your question, no, not eventually, but as time moved on, I learned how to become, because I had to think about, okay, so how do I pivot from this situation to that situation? What song is going to come out of this? And it took a minute. I'm still in the process of writing some songs as relates to that, because again, it was just, I don't think about it personally by me, but there's a lot of people, who's been affected by this pandemic, a lot of artists and things like that. And, we have up to somewhere like 280,000 deaths. And so I think about those families and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's basically my question. That's my answer to that question. Some people would probably jump off and say, "Yeah, sure, yeah, I wrote a book. Yeah, good for you. Hey, that's great. If you can do that, that's fine. But I don't think it's fair for anybody to condemn or to speak negative of somebody who is a creative, who's in that light that has not gotten to that point yet. Because again, this pandemic affects everybody in different forms. Nobody was ready for this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's like, oh, guess what's going to happen in March of 2020? We're going to have a pandemic, so let me be ready. It wasn't one of those type of situations. So yeah,
Facts, bro. That's facts.
yeah.
I think that's so good. I was leading a mindful meditation, and one of the things I was talking about, the quote that I had seen on Instagram the other day that I thought was really powerful, about we are not all in the same boat. We're all in the same storm.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are in yachts. Some of us are in tugboats. Some of us are in canoes. Some of us, and I'm paraphrasing now because I'm adding extra stuff, but because I think it makes it better. But some of us are really just doggy paddling out here. So though we all are in this global pandemic, how it impacts each of us is very unique.
That's true. I mean, as you said, some of us in yachts, and some of us we are thin line between yacht and paddling. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that's just the truth of the matter. You know, a lot of people can perpetrate. And that's fine. And if you're good, I wish you the best. I mean, you know, I think that's wonderful. But if we are true to ourselves, you know, also, you know, when people's like, well, you should have been financially prepared. You should have your savings. Well, I did have my savings, and guess what? Now it's depleted because that's what I had to use. So now I'm in a position where my savings is gone. What am I going to do next? And so for people to, you know, everybody has to just really respect people where they are and in the situation they are, and hope that and pray that we all can thrive and survive through this whole situation together.
Man, it sounds like you just got out of an argument with somebody.
No, no, I was just
Like, wait till I get on this show. I got something to talk about right away.
Well, you know, I guess it's not that it's just Troy. You know, that's a sensitive situation to me because I've seen so many people who have condemned people and been negative towards people who they feel are not at their status where they feel that people should be at in life during this pandemic. And I always say, hey, you got to be real about this situation. We didn't plan for this. You know, nobody planned to have a pandemic in 2020. We didn't know these things were coming. So you really have to respect people where they are. And if you're in a better situation, instead of talking about them, either pray for them or help them out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, if you feel that person should be right at a certain point, if they're not to that point, then what are you going to do to help them get to that point other than talking down to them?
Yeah,
This is
that's real.
super challenging
I
times.
do feel like we're all kind of at this place where we're starting from scratch, right? So, you know, I mean, besides like the ones that are really in a privileged situation, everyone else is kind of just starting from scratch. So I think it's like starting from the starting line or maybe the finish line at this point, and you're building this this castle all over again. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, and I know one of the things we're going to talk about as far as the industry is concerned. I feel it's, you know, right now, as far as the industry is concerned, especially with artists, we're all at the same level right now, same level playing field. You know, we all are. So in regard to that, we all are really starting over because artists who are able to be able to tour and to, you know, sell their merch and push their music and things like that, we all doing this right now. We all virtual. We all virtual. So everybody's on the same level playing field. So now it's the time where we say, okay, we all equal because we've been pretty much all, unless you certain artists in case we be, but still at that point they're still doing still the same thing we were doing. I laugh because before the pandemic, like we wouldn't Instagram and live on Instagram. Nobody doing that really. Now everybody has a
Now,
show.
versus is everything, right?
Oh, versus, yes.
Listen, versus.
Man.
Let me tell you, and everybody's on there. Nobody's saying no to it. Why? Because it's bringing visibility to you and what you're doing. And that artists who may not have been doing anything in a long time is bringing life back to them as well. So we all on this virtual situation where it's level to we all have equal. So I tell artists all the time, listen, take advantage of this thing right now. This is the time you go out and market yourself. If you don't know how to market yourself, find someone who teaches marketing, do some research on it, and learn how to market yourself because we all are equal right now. Seriously, you know, I tell myself and I tell my choir and my artist friends all the time. Whenever I release a project, you know, I treat myself as a new artist, regardless before the pandemic or during the pandemic. If I release some music, I start as if I was the first. This is my first time ever releasing a project, period. And so I hustle, I do the groundwork. I do more than my team does, you know, because again, I can expect them to do more than for me than I'm going to do for myself. So I tell artists, you push yourself, you know, so because and then Tori gonna say like he gonna say that I seem like a man again, but I'm not. Well, I have an issue with artists saying, "Man, ain't nobody going hard for me but myself." But nobody should go hard for you other than yourself. If you don't go hard, why would I work harder for you than you're gonna work for yourself? If I see you doing 150% or something that you're invested in, that's gonna make me work hard just as hard for you. But if I see you sitting back, laid back, and not doing anything, why should I? You should be the one that's going hard for yourself. You should be the one that's invested in yourself because again, it's your brand, it's your market, it's you who you are. So you should be invested into yourself. So
I've heard that analogy, like if your car is if you're on the side of the road and your car has stopped and you just have your flashing lights on, most cars will drive past. But if you get out of your car and you're pushing it, there's a greater likelihood that somebody's going to come by and help you push that car because they see you moving it forward, you know, and everybody's journey is different. But,
Right.
you know, I like analogies, you know. I wish I had a
That's
button.
a good one. You
I
sounded smart,
never heard
Troy.
that analogy before, but
Oh, that was a new one.
Troy sounded smart, guys. Damn.
Come on, when I find out how to put one of DJ Clue's bombs on here, it's going down. I'm telling you.
you don't
Yo,
get
but-
that. You don't get that air horn. That.
Oh yeah.
This is getting scary, guys.
Before we lose it, that I really loved what you said, Mark, about like taking a course. Like if you don't know how to market, find somebody who does. Like the past few days, I've spent in Facebook seminars learning how to optimize my marketing on Facebook and Instagram. And so that was a course that was offered to me, and I took it, and it was definitely above my head. And so I was like, this is hard, but I was like, I got to figure it out. And, you know, last week on the show, I was talking about how to like do paperwork or anything like that. Like this was all in that. And like I said, I was going to stand in that. Like I really got present to how the pandemic personally into how I like the specific things that I avoid because I said I was too busy. And so then when everything shut down, I find myself like, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. Really, ma'am? You're sitting here. What is it that you don't have time for? So I had to take a hard look at myself. And then I had to look at the impact of that behavior, right? And I shared that last week on the show. And so I've been standing and like doing one thing that I don't want to do that I know is surrounded in that paperwork, just like doing like anything in that space. I'm on the lead. So I'm forcing myself to sit in it. And one of those things is taking this 2-day course that I wanted to jump out of my body while I was in it. And I feel very powerful. On the backside of it, I learned a tremendous amount. And so it's just really important, like you said, like this is a space where we're all sitting and we have opportunities that we otherwise wouldn't have. And there's so many free courses that are available right now to just get present to how you can get better at marketing or different parts of whatever it is that you're doing as an artist, how you can be better at the things that go along with it. Because you said something really great because it's not just about being a talent, but it's about believing in yourself and pushing out your product and getting it out to the people that you need to and figuring out how to do that. And the fact that you said that you do that every single time you do something.
Every single time.
Sauce, huh? Secret sauce you giving us right there? That's secret sauce right there.
Yeah, I mean, I do it every time because I believe in, like, you know, I don't try to micromanage or anything like that, but I believe in having some knowledge in every aspect of my team. So I'm going to know a little bit about marketing. I'm going to know a little bit about licensing. I'm going to know about everything about my team, but again, not to micromanage, but so no one would take advantage of me. That's number one, because artists you can be taken advantage of. But again, so that I have knowledge of the fact that if I had to do it, I'm capable of doing it. Now, again, everybody's different. You know, everybody don't do the same way, but I encourage artists to do that. We do artist enrichment classes, which, you know, Troy is a part of the team. Whenever he decides to show up, that's just another show.
Oh, see, that's going.
No, just I had to get that in. I had to get that in. Oh, really? Okay, thanks, Troy. You win. You win. I promise you win. I promise you win. I will not do it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all right.
You win. God, so what I'm gonna say. All right, but anyway, but we do an artist enrichment class, seriously, that embodies, because our organization, Showcase USA, is an art music platform that music organization that provides platform for up-and-coming artists to showcase their talent. We have a lot of industry professionals that come in to showcase their talent, and they get a lot of opportunities, especially when you know, before the pandemic, a lot of opportunities for them to, you know, increase their talent and be able to showcase their talent. But one thing we always thrive upon is making sure that we educate as well. So on everyday living aspects of tools that they need in everyday life, and also in the music industry as well. So we also have provided free courses again, because I want artists to be educated, because I don't want them to have happen to me what happened to me when I was an artist came out. I was just, you know, just happy to get a deal and just ready to go. Didn't read a contract, didn't have a lawyer read the contract, nothing above, and I just signed on the dollar line. And did I pay for that? Hear me, I paid for it. So, you know, I wanted artists that would make that mistake, because again, we just feel I'm the brand, and so my music's going to sell, and I don't have to know any knowledge. But the majority of the artists that are successful now, that's because they have some book sense behind it as well.
So you're a Stellar Award winner. You you just stepped down from or moved. I wouldn't don't step down, but you've moved into your next phase with next showcase.
Mhm.
You're one of the Grammy selection committee here in Chicago,
Mhm.
and you make Christian. You still making Christian music? Is that
Mhm.
so? I got a question
Go ahead.
for you. Okay, now is it blasphemous or is it a compliment? Have you heard that new remix that DJ Luke Nasty made of Kirk Franklin's melody? You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. You seen the booties popping to it.
Oh God.
Oh man, come on! It's on your history. It's on your YouTube history.
Right. Or is it blasphemous?
I was wondering when I was going to.
Should I be dancing?
I was wondering what's
Oh,
going to
hold it up! Hold it up!
It's got a peach. It's got a booty.
I was wondering when I was gonna get this question from somebody. I've been avoiding this question for a long time on all these interviews. I find it would be on this one. So let me put it this way: music is an art form, and music is the language that I feel that is universal, and that's the only language that's universal that we can ever put somebody in a box because it speaks to everyone. How you interpret the music and how you feel the music is on you. Um, I can't be hypocritical to say that it's blasphemy because we, as Christian artists, have taken a lot of secular music and used it in our songs as well. So to say that it's not right for them to use our music again, it's to me, it will be hypocritical. So that's just my view on it. It's I believe again, music is a universal language. It speaks to everyone. That's not the first song from a Christian side has been played in the club, or I mean, if you go back, Tremaine Hawkins' song was played in the club. There's a lot of songs that's been played in the club before. It's just and if you listen to the song, the part of the song that he used, it was never a part of the song that he disrespected God in at all. So, again, if you're gonna dissect the song, you really have to dissect it. And that's just me. I dissect it all the way down. So now, if we was saying some profanity and then using Jesus right behind it, my antennas will go up and say, that's a little disrespectful. But there's never a part in the song. He looked. It was never part in the song, but it disrespected Jesus. There were words into a melody that he used that he also put inside his song. So it's all in how you look at it. But I don't think it's a blasphemy.
Yeah.
I didn't have an opinion either. I mean, I will say I just felt when I honestly didn't listen to all the way through. I was like, oh, my spirit's confused. We gonna leave that over there. I'm gonna let y'all do that.
And I understand that, and I respect that. Really, I understand it, and I respect that. I tell people all the time, your opinion is yours. It's not right nor it's wrong. It's your opinion.
Right.
Not right nor it's wrong. It's yours. You have a right to it. People that you have a right to freedom of speech and freedom of thought. So I get it. But again, as my aspect is that we have to be careful as Christians that when we take other people's work and use it for our gain, that we're not hypocritical again, that when somebody takes ours and uses it for their gain, we automatically say, oh, you're wrong. We have to be careful of that because we've done that a lot. We have,
Man,
just have.
because I have definitely heard songs and I'm like, yo, was that 50? Was that- like, I swear, bro.
And you're like, hold on, wait, am I backing it up or am I
It's
throwing?
like, yo, I swear that was Drake.
No, if we talk about Kurt Franklin, we just talk about the song "Smile."
Mm.
I'm just saying. I mean, if that's not, it was not written as a. I mean, so again, we just have to be careful that we don't, as Christians, be hypocritical in our thought because we always do things that make it justified for what we think and feel, and not really what the whole concept is about. And again, this is Mark Hubbard's opinion, neither right nor wrong. It's mine. So and I stand by it. So.
That's a good.
Sharing that.
And that's a good point because it goes back to what you were saying earlier, just about, meeting people where they are, understanding, whatever your religious beliefs are, affiliations or backgrounds, ultimately, as artists, as community leaders, we want to connect with people. And those are tools, those are things that are available to us to use to connect with others. So if you walk in and you hear a gospel song that was derivative of, something that you heard in the club, then, you might for the shock value may get you eventually or initially, but after a while, you got to start to think about what is the purpose behind it. Is there, there's something else going on other than just, sampling this song or sampling this music.
And you never know what the outline purpose would be. That particular song, part of sampling of the song, could actually change somebody's life. It can actually do what it's actually meant to do. And then all of a sudden, the artists go, wait a minute, that person actually listened to that song. So he investigated where did that part of the song come from. He's found out it's a gospel artist that did this song. He gets more into gospel music than it leads him to Christ. And guess what? It has done its job.
And that I got a question about that. Just because of the position that you've held with the Recording Academy across several genres, what was that process like? Because you're working on all different types of genres of music. How do you navigate all of those relationships?
Well, I usually use myself analogy of President Obama, and then I'm a fan. That's me. So anybody has any different other opinions?
Get him off the show.
But when President Obama became president, we thought that President Obama was the president of one race. And no, he was the president of the United States of America. And so that's the same attitude that I took on as it relates to my presidency in the Midwest chapter for the Recording Academy, because the Chicago chapter, which is really the Midwest chapter, we cover 12 states, all genres of music. So that means I had to have an open mind, open ear, and open concept to all genres of music, that all genres of music would be represented at the table in which I was led to lead, there to lead. So it was more of a complex for people who knew my background and knew who I was and knew what I did and who I am, that says, "Oh, have you left the church?" And I was like, "No, I left the church. I love music." Before I got this position, I love country music. I just do, because it tells old country music tells a true story, and that's really what it tells. Most of them, they write from the heart, they write through life experiences, and so I'm a lyricist, so I listen to words and what people say. So I'm really detailed when people write words and write a song, that their lyrics really speak something. I love rap music, I love blues, I love jazz, because again, music is a universal language. So it was more so the saints trying to box me in and say, "Well, wait a minute, have you left the church? And what are you doing with all this music? Because I don't see you doing that." And again, I was like, I am the president of the Recording Academy for the Midwest chapter that represents all genres of music. And when I leave this position, I'll still represent all music, because music is universal. So it was challenging, but more so challenging from the church people than it was from my secular friends. And I tell people all the time, I found more love. It was really amazing to me too. Then I'm actually talking about the sentence out loud, but it's true. I found more love and more understanding from people outside of the church than I did from the people inside of it, because again, we don't want to box me in, but the people on the outside was more willing to learn more about what we did, how can we connect, how can we collaborate, how can we infuse this music together, and how can we work together. And so it opened me up. And then, and that's not all church people, don't get me wrong, because that one, that was just, some of them that, again, throw the brick and hide their hands, my mama would say.
Analogy, that's another one. Clue bomb.
Yo, so I really wonder this question, actually, because earlier we were kind of talking about how revolutionary kind of movements have allowed corporations to try to monetize off of it. I'm gonna kind of take that same concept and use it in the sense of Kanye West, right? So what are your thoughts on Kanye going gospel? You think he's doing that because he's like, yo, my whole kind of hip hop thing is done with. Maybe I can monetize this in a whole other way. Are you a fan of his Sunday services? These are kind of things that I wonder, actually.
I'm gonna zoom in on you. I'm gonna zoom in on you so you can answer this.
You need to zoom back out, because I won't be. So, you would hit me with that question.
That's a rough one.
Hard one today, huh?
That's a hard one there, because again, I put it this way: I don't know his heartbeat or his level of Christianity or where he comes from, because I'm not friends with him like that, and I don't judge people on that, because I don't want nobody to judge me on my relationship with God, whether I have one, whether I think I have one, or I don't have one. I think We, as the Bible said, we die daily, so there's no perfect man. So if we were perfect, then we'd be sitting on the right hand side of the Father. And I believe that we're all still down here. So if you that perfect, you'd be up there with Him. So, and I'm cool with not being perfect because I'm not in the rush to get nowhere up there in heaven. I'm fine. So I'm not in the rush right now. You know, I'm good. But I don't know his thought process behind him doing a Christian album. I do say this, that I think from a political standpoint, or that I am a little skeptic about when artists do Christian music, what is their motive behind it, and why they are placed in certain categories in certain situations where they know that their popularity will win them certain things based upon is this really what you really want to do, or this is really what your life is doing, the case may be. So I'm trying to answer your question without really speaking from the heart, because
we don't want that. We want authenticity now.
I know you do.
Yeah, man.
Come on now.
It's right there. It's right there.
Right
It's
there.
right there.
It is. So I'm trying to be politically correct here as it relates to him. I'm not, again, definitely not a fan of his as it relates to his political views and what he stands for. But him as an artist, I do respect. Him as a person, I don't really know, and I'm okay with that. Read between the lines. So I'm still trying to be politically correct. You get in for this question, I promise you, you do. So but his motives behind it and reason why he did it, and but like I said, everybody has a right to express themselves behind whatever music they want to put out. But you do understand there was 2 projects was put out. There's one that was put out where there was, more so Kanye, and then there's a Christian side of him that was more so him paying respect to a lot of Christian songs that were already recorded and was just reprises reworks of those works. And he had a great music director and a great choir director who taught the songs. So there's a lot behind that, that of the making of that project. So
and he started the Sunday service. What's that all about?
Yeah.
I'm digging in.
You are, and I think you're digging in because of my Christian side. And I attended the one here when it came to Chicago, because I had to see
at the United Center.
No, it was one of those.
2 of them. There was one at the United Center, and then there was one at whatchamacallit Island.
Yeah, the one at the island.
Yeah, it was outside. Yeah,
Northerly.
Outside. Mm-hmm. And what I saw was a celebration of gospel music. That's what I saw. I still don't know his purpose, his mindset behind it, and I don't want to judge it. I'm just leery of it. But I'm more so, this is how you get out of a mark cover. I am more so concerned about the Christian community, and I'll tell you why. Because before he did that record and before he became and stepped out there, the same people who were saying leave him alone, pushing, if he found God, yada yada, was the same people that was tearing him down on radio and in the media, especially in Christianity, and basically saying he's lost his mind. And then therefore, when the project came out, then all of a sudden they want to become his friends and support him. My thing was, so what was your thought process? What was your motive behind that? So he can come on your show and say, you say I had him on my show. What was the actual thought process behind that? So I found it more so that I love Saints. I really do. I love Saints. Yeah, I'm gonna blast them back. I'm telling you, I just love Saints, and I would just leave it there. And I think I've said what I have to say without having to say it, and we're gonna leave it right there. I love the Saints. I love it.
Yo, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you coming out for sure. We got some. I got
Definitely.
some very Dr. Fauci like vibes as you were answering the question. Super tactful, you know.
I've learned. Let me tell you, I've learned. Being president of the Recording Academy, there are certain things you can and cannot say. I am still an official there. I still sit on the board, so you have to always be politically correct because it always comes back in. Then me as my brand, I always have to be politically correct about what I say and what I do because it somehow or another comes back on me. So, but listen, guys, I'm gonna say this because I love Troy. He's my little brother. But guys, tell him there's a chat box down there that he can chat. He can write what he needs to write in that chat box instead of texting me telling me it's almost time to wrap.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dang. I done pressed the wrong button.
Right.
That's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get.
Yo, I'm like, yo, I'm about to press this button.
Yeah, that's what you get. He goes, I'm like, why are you texting me? It's right. This chat said.
I thought I texted. I thought I sent the text in the thing, and I'm looking at the time. I'm like, I'm trying to time this thing out, man. But anyway,
Oh man, this
That
is
was
great.
so
it's all love.
It's all love.
Oh man, 0.2
Next
is.
time, don't have those two try to ask me questions because they try to get me in trouble. Those two right there on the side, they were trying. No good questions. No good questions.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're building. But you know, we're building something special. Like I said,
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate you coming out for sure.
Yeah, bro,
Let
yeah.
everybody know where we can follow you, where we can check out more of your work. Because Mark, you have a show as well.
Yeah, so on Instagram is Mark Hubbard 1015. That's my Instagram. And then Next Showcase, which is my business, Next Showcase, you can follow us there. And on Facebook is Mark Hubbard Network or either Next Showcase on Facebook as well. And the same thing for Twitter. And you can follow me there. We have shows Fridays, Saturdays, name it. We trying to get on Troy's, good side when he will have one of the shows or something. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on, we're trying. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep this good energy going. But
Let me just say this, Troy, and I know you're rushing me off, but don't.
here we go. Here we go. It's a preacher. This is a preacher right here.
I promise you. We have 12 closes, right? But I do want to say thank you, man. Seriously, thank you guys for having me. This is dope. This is a great conversation. I love the vibe. You guys have a good team going on. I really appreciate this. Thank you for the good questions. Thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate this for real. Seriously.
Okay.
Man,
Yo.
thanks for coming out, bro.
Yes,
No
thank you. And thank you for sharing authentically.
And we got some ideas. We're still working on some things. We got some ideas for next year to incorporate music, some live performances into some things. So we're definitely going to continue this conversation for sure.
Cool. Well, thank
All
you.
right.
Appreciate you.
All right, everybody out there, we appreciate you tuning in to the Cypher 0.3-ish podcast. We're gonna keep it going. I'll explain that to you later. I'll explain it later. I'll explain it later. We working on some things, man. We're working on some things. Cool. So appreciate y'all checking us out. Peace.
Peace.